Awards live stream.
Yep.
Wow. This is very informal. Hello, Elijah. Glad you made it. We were just talking about football weather.
This is about in the middle of the street.
Nice. We were just talking about that.
That literally is a big street.
It's a little cold tonight here in Casper, Wyoming. The actors will not be wearing their usual costumes, but we're going to be giving the same show. You'll be experiencing the great power of this ancient Greek tragedy in the old-fashioned way. Theater done as it has been done since the time of Sophocles. No masks, no social distancing, real theater. Remember the theater? Remember how we used to do theater? We're still doing it here. We need you to come to see these things though. So no more Facebook Live. You can get to the theater in real time and be a real person in a real theater. You got to do that because we're not going to have theater if you don't show up. The experience that you'll be having on Facebook Live, adequate, not the same as being here. But I'm glad you're there anyway because we want you to see our work. We're very proud of it. And the show will be starting in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
The pig fell out. That's nice because I mean I don't want to throw it too, but I want the quarterback. That was like perfect. I was a wide receiver for one play. Yeah? Yeah. They're not shit, it's stuck. And then I was a cornerback for the rest of the season. Are you okay over there? What are you doing?
Oh, you said for one play. I thought you meant like a play.
Hey, no.
Like
the most mysterious thing.
I
I
don't
was
know.
wide receiver on one play and I wasn't even a passing play. Oh, so you just like, literally I blocked the guys when they would run. That was the only time I played wide receiver. Actually, cornerback.
Sometime in middle school, they made me the center, but they never let me play. And they were like, Riker, you can be the center. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, you're always going to be on the bench. And I was like, that's fair.
So sad.
Every game I was
center
like,
coach, flag
He
football,
was up there like
but
this.
the older kids thought flag
that.
football did like tackle. And so even though it wasn't tackle football, we still got like shit out of it. I was like, I want to play football. Like, why? Like, because I got like, you needed to come out on the field by like a fifth grader.
It's too much to grab on. It doesn't grab my hands enough. I'm not used to it. Right. And you have the OBJ it. Oh, not bad. I'll give you an OBJ. That's not sorry. Sorry. We're interacting with the crowd tonight.
Yeah, it's too bad that football got destroyed also.
Yeah.
Along the line, well, football is destroying itself well before COVID.
I love seeing the recaps of like the highlights of the sports with just like hard working for the background. The same reaction everyone can look for that. Imagine Conte hitting you like this.
Full pads and everything just wrecked.
I like basketball though. It's not, I never
We
played.
had 3 people live.
I'm probably one of them.
Alec is one.
Alec is one. Is Julia the other? My daughter the other?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh. And my old colleague Douglas Garland. Let's see. Hey Doug,
Playing real.
you out there? How's it going, brother? I hope you're watching the show and your happy retirement in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Are you on Facebook?
Comment or something.
Emily
I'll tell you
watching?
tomorrow, though.
Emily's watching!
Who?
Hello, Emily!
Emily's watching. Amelia? All right. Hey, spread the word, man. We're out here. People need to see this show. Who else is not watching my play right now? Come on, get it on. Get it on.
Don't like this spiral on this. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I know. Probably what, like a 4-second delay?
Yeah, pretty good. That's the first time I've ever like it.
Okay. Okay.
From yeah, the whole set. lifting. You can sit over there, you can sit over there, you can sit anywhere you want. We explore the depths of the soul and the nature of existence.
Giving you a fumble.
No, I didn't.
Luke, your phones tonight, we would like to challenge the audience to a game of touch tackle football.
Yo no que todo lo que es.
Social distance flag football? How?
No, have those sticky
That's
hands.
how you would do social distance flag football.
Have those sticky hands and
You're,
just go.
you're running for the buttons and they grab your flag. No, like, violation.
No, your flag has to be like 6 feet long.
Imagine.
It's like, go to the quarterback and break your hand and run at him.
Hey, Julia, if you're watching, comment and let us know that you're watching, okay?
Look at my great mascot.
You have to put hand sanitizer on your hands and then you go tackle.
All right, guys, let's pull together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like Patrick Ross like he dropped someone like.
We're glad you made it. Come on in, sit anywhere.
Siéntate, por favor.
Sit anywhere. Yes, we'll also be providing simultaneous Spanish interpretation of the play. People of Thebes, personas de Thebes. Why are you here? ¿Por qué estás aquí?
That was honestly.
And be like, they're not your parents, son tus pinches padres, güey.
Okay.
Una pinche montaña, cabrón.
What?
Sure.
people of Thebes! Why have you come here? Why do you come before me now with prayers and tears of supplication, fragrant incense wafting skyward to the gods who live in bliss? While I'm asking here the stench of plague, death. Why not take these complaints directly to their temples and beg them for relief from the curse they sent? No, but it isn't right that I should hear your hardship secondhand. No, I am Oedipus Tyrannos, your king. None are more disposed than I to save my people, my children, and none more able. You, old priest, speak to me now, and say clearly what you want of me. By giving voice to the people's pain, bring us close to finding a cure.
Thank you, my master. My service to you is no less than my service to the gods, to whom we owe all. Every blessing, and this misfortune. Let me tell you openly, your people are dying, not only in body, but in spirit. They're unable to go out, for the gods will strike them with a plague, the likes of which has never been known before. It attacks the lungs and fills them with fluid. The fever sets the victim's skin on fire. They feel like they've fallen into a furnace, even as they drown. Underwater, yet burn. The elderly have borne the worst of it, my lord. And I'm sure you'd agree that after lives well lived in service of the gods and of the state, our old men and women don't deserve this kind of death. But not just the old. The young are vulnerable too. The gods have given to this plague a pair of demon dice that tells who will drown and who will be saved. And so we beg of you, best of rulers, Oedipus, impose whatever measures you deem necessary to restore our greatness. We will obey. May history never look on you as the king who slept while his subjects died and the survivors wept.
I see, more clearly, more sharply, than anyone here present can imagine. Your story is not unknown to me. How could it be? I'm your king. I know what goes on in my kingdom. If I could not see my people, I could not lead. If I was born to lead, as you were born to be led by me. You think that here in my palace, I am removed from your cares, blind to the signs, deaf to the cries, unmoved by your pain. Let me tell you this. You each have your pain, each one alone. But I bear the pain of you, and him, and her, and all of them. In addition to my own, pain of Thebes and my own heart weighing me down. But, because I see far, and am strong, no weight can oppress me for long, nor can it make me slow to act when times demand that I move with speed, with wisdom, with all the means at my disposal. Therefore I have sent for Creon, my brother-in-law, whom you know well, a man of sterling reputation, intelligence, and nobility, to Apollo's priestess, the Delphic oracle, who hears the word of the god and speaks truthfully to righteous men. There is no greater physician than Apollo, the father of medicine, and I would be the blindest fool if I failed to do everything our godly doctor might prescribe. I see him, He comes now, even as I mentioned him. My kinsman Creon, who wears the laurel, sign of the gods' good counsel. What news, Creon? Word of the gods?
Good words, good counsel, as you said, my lord. We have the heavenly prescription. At last it's in our hands to bring about the cure.
What did the oracle say? Be direct and spare the poetry.
Shall I say it to you here openly? Or would it be perhaps better to speak alone?
Say it before all. The pain is primarily the people's, not mine.
Then hear what the god has said. There is contamination, pollution in our land. We must unearth it and root it out. This vile thing that makes our town abject.
What vile thing? Rooted out how?
Blood guilt, my lord, long unresolved. We must shed blood for blood unjustly shed, or banish the offender from our midst.
What man can he mean?
Our king, before you came to us, was Laius.
Yes, heard of him. Never knew him. Keep going.
He was killed, and now the god's command is plain. The criminals must be found and punished, no matter who they might be.
Impossible. Their trail went cold long ago. They could be anywhere on earth by now.
Yes, but the god said this, and now it makes sense. Those who seek in Thebes shall find. Those who sit or wait or sleep are blind.
Never mind the poetry. The search begins now. Where was Laius when we found him? Was he home in his palace or abroad? Or perhaps on his way to some destination?
He had been traveling, said he was going to consult the oracle of Delphi, but he did not return.
Was there no news? No rumor of the crime? No witness that might provide a clue?
There was one, a slave of Laius, who glimpsed the carnage, and reported one sure fact as he was fleeing for his life.
Well, what was it? This could be the key to the whole investigation.
He said it was robbers, a band of thieves that ambushed the entourage of Laius.
No, this is too bold an act for roadside thugs. To kill a king? No, this smacks of treason. They were hired by the dark cabal that plots against the hearts and life of thieves.
We considered this at the time, but none could be credibly accused, so no one found reason to seek justice, especially during the crisis we were facing then.
What crisis could be so pressing as to prevent you lot from finding out the killer of your king?
The Sphinx, my lord, with its tortuous riddle is besieging our gates. And as you know, whoever answered wrongly, the monster ate.
Yes, well, now that competent leadership is here at last, we will go back over everything and bring all these dark matters to light. Apollo is right. The dead must have justice. I will seek out the killers and find them, as duty demands, but not for Laius, a stranger, for myself. Whoever struck at Laius may come for me. They are the poison in our city's blood, and it will be I who cleanses us of it.
Healer of heroes, you send down your word to your people made abject by your righteous wrath. Help us, Apollo, you great golden sun, while your light disinfecting our perilous path. We are trapped inside our homes, confused, afraid. No one knows when this will end, no one can say. Search we must to find the thing that poisons us. Wrath of God come down on him and not on us. Shops are closed, no one can work or buy or sell. Panic reigns as we complain about this hell. No one hears and no one cares, the gods ignore. Stench of death and rotting lungs and running sores. We're in this together, O people of Thebes. Alone all together, obedient weeds. Who do what we're told and will shelter in place. If we go out in public, we'll cover our face. Desperate times call for desperate measures. We must find the monster responsible for this. The gods are out sailing on south winds prevailing, for nothing disturbs their Olympian bliss. Bliss.
Forget the gods! What matters is that I have heard your prayers. As these things occurred here long before my arrival at your gates, a stranger, it seems I am best suited to take up the chase and track down the killers on a trail long gone cold. So, let us begin from where we stand. If anyone knows the identity of the killers of the former King Laius, reveal it now. No harm will come to you, and no worse a punishment than exile for the one so named. You will be rewarded, and will have the gratitude of your king. If I am forced to find him without your help, then here's what you can expect for him and for yourselves. Banishment from every hearth. The murderers and those who sheltered them, no one may admit them to their homes. They shall not participate in sacred rites. They will be deprived of fire and water and driven from the city. This remedy, Apollo the healer prescribed, I, his representative and champion, take up the cause for Laius. That you might know the depth of my resolve, I make this promise. If I find that the killers were harbored in my household, by my kid, my ignorance shall be sufficient reason for these curses to be called down on me. But make no mistake, this plague is a judgment on the people of Thebes and its leaders, those who were in charge before I came, because it was their responsibility and yours, as is the duty of anyone claiming that Thebes is a city worthy of its founding by warriors who once were the greatest of men. But now, there are so few true soldiers left, so few with arms and hearts strong enough to fight for truth or for their freedom. So I will show you what true leadership is. By fighting for Thebes as my homeland, though I came to it as a stranger, and because I now possess all that belonged to the slain king, I am bound to him, and will fight on his behalf, as if he were my own father, leaving undisturbed not even a blade of grass, as I hunt down the killers, avenge his death, and restore the balance which his crime has upended.
I take to heart the oath you swore, my lord, and swear another oath myself. I had no hand in this horrendous crime, no information at all to help you in your investigation.
Then what good are you?
None at all, Tyrannos. Our worth is less than a handful of sand. We need you to rescue us.
And I will.
May we suggest to you what seems best to us?
Proceed. What you say may have more value than you think.
There is no man anywhere who sees further than the prophet Tiresias. The light of Apollo illuminates his mind. He knows the secrets of both gods and men.
What has occurred to you so late came to me quite early. As advised by Creon, I sent for him twice. He should have been here by now.
Something coming out of his mind. A rumor tracing to the time of the murder.
Well, say it!
I heard he was taken by robbers, who ambushed his train, killed everyone save one, who afterwards fled to a foreign land.
I heard this as well. It's maddening to know there may have been a witness.
We may yet find him out. The one who sees with the eyes of Apollo is now about to come into your presence.
Tiresias, you are the greatest of prophets. Your insight is undeniable, a gift enhanced perhaps by your blindness. God speaks through you, and you do not err. We know from the oracle there is a path to wellness. Now you must lead us along by pointing out the murderers of Laius, so that they themselves may be killed or exiled. In doing this, you do a service not only to your king, but to your country. and also to yourself. Because the longer this plague persists, the longer we all must live like captives. And since, to my knowledge, we did not lose a war, we are not a subject people. I see no reason why the people of Thebes should have to live in fear, especially now, since we have you here. Identify the source of this contagion, so that we may at last be cleansed from it. There is no greater service one can perform than to use one's gifts to aid the people.
How painful to be wise when wisdom is worth nothing. I understood this once, but I'd forgotten. Otherwise, I would not have come here.
Is something wrong, Tiresias?
Let me go home. I beg you. I cannot help you. Your burden is yours to bear, and I mine own.
What do you mean? You've come all this way to tell us you have nothing to say?
No! I will not expose your agony, nor my own.
Nothing is your own when lives are at stake. Your countrymen are dying. How dare you assert any kind of personal prerogative when clearly you have information that can end their suffering?
I have nothing more to say.
This is treason, Tiresias, against the health and well-being of the state, embodied in myself, the Tyrannos. Your highest loyalty is to the state, and therefore to me. To defy me is to defy the state, and to defy the state is the very definition of treason.
My highest loyalty is to the gods, and all I have seen because of them.
Eyeless mole, you've never seen anything. So what could the gods have shown you?
I see that your anger compels you to demean me.
It does indeed. And you can bet every drachma dropped in that donation box of that house of lies you call a temple. My people, this fraud withholds the truth. He dares an act of treason, risking death. And why? Can it be that he knows the killers? Maybe he was in on the conspiracy, and in fact, if he weren't blind, he'd be a prime suspect in the crime itself. Tiresias, tell us, is this true? What is true? What are we to believe? Help us!
No more. All right. Oedipus Tyrannos. I charge you now to implement the edict you just proclaimed. Say nothing more to me or to any of these people here. Because you are the man! You are the pollution poisoning this land!
How could you say this?
How
dare you! A liar! And a slanderer! And your status as prophet will not spare you the consequences of this infamy.
I have nothing to call my own except for my poverty and the truth. I have no fear of your wrath or your chains.
Who taught you this truth? Surely not the gods.
What I have seen was given to me by him. What I have said was forced out of me by you.
Repeat your charge. I want to make sure that we all understand your meaning.
I say that you are the murderer. You are the man you have been charged to find.
How could you say this? Blasphemy! Lying! Lie! I will have your tongue torn from your throat.
Then before you make a philomel of me, I will tell you something even more outrageous.
Keep going. With every filthy falsehood, you increase your debt, which you will pay in torture.
I say that you live in sordid sin with your closest kin. Blissful as a god in your ignorance.
That's disgusting. How could you say die for this?
If I die for truth, it means that I have lived well.
The life of a blind beggar? A fool, with more of your years spent in senility than anything resembling lucidity.
A fool calls me a fool. But soon enough, these people here will turn these insults back on you yourself.
Sightless old glebe, you are nothing and will never have power over me.
So, it's not your fate to fall than mine.
Creon put you up to this, didn't he?
Creon is not your enemy. You are your own nemesis.
Look at it, people of Thebes! The face of envy and ambition, contorted by spite, disfigured by treason. And for what? For this? This crown bestowed upon me by you, the people? I did not ask for it. For this, my kin, my wife's brother, my friend, has chosen to conspire with this fraud, this jabbering clown, paid to spew outrageous claims about me, and undermine me, and all that I make to heal us. Tell us, Mr. Prophet, where were you? Where were you when the Sphinx laid siege to the gates and literally devoured anyone unable to answer that ridiculous riddle? By the way, the answer was man, you ignorant pigs. You know what? I didn't get the answer from the trees, or the birds, or from wherever you charlatans claim to glean your insights. No. I thought it through. I reasoned it out. Because I am a man with a mind and not some superstitious savage! After I had thwarted the monster, you people hailed me as your messiah, made me king. But it is clear that Creon, who would have succeeded Laius, hopes to use this crisis to cover his coup, and this false prophet to strike the killing blow.
Both you and the prophet are speaking with too much rage and too little sense. These accusations are not productive. The gods cannot be pleased with this display. Be quiet! All of you. Yes, it is true. He made you Tyrannus. He gave you power. But you cannot take from me my right. My right to reply is guaranteed by Lot Wall. So listen and look at me. I am not someone who can be bought. I belong to God. And he will not allow me to be sold to anyone. Certainly not Creon. You have belittled me and mocked my blindness. But you, who have eyes, do not see the filth into which you have fallen. You don't know where you live, and you don't know with whom you share your bed. In fact, you don't know who your own parents are. But in your ignorance, I enemy to both, mother and father alive and dead. For that, their curse is on you, and it will drive you out from Thebes at the point of its sharp-edged sword. And the eyes that looked upon a kingdom will gaze into a sunless, starless night, an unrelenting blackness into which all your anguish streams will pour. There is no place that sound will not reach, no crag on Mount Kithyron that will not ring when you learn the truth about your wedding day. And a host of horrors you cannot even imagine will acquaint you with your own children. So go ahead. Accuse me of colluding with Creon. Put me to death if you must. It won't matter. There is no one on this earth more abject than you.
Will not tolerate this any longer. Get out! And don't ever return!
I wouldn't have come if you hadn't have summoned me.
I know you come here only to belch treasonous bile. You would never have received that summons.
You think I am just a doddering fool. But the parents who bore you thought me wise enough.
What are you talking about? Who were my parents?
They will be born, immolated, and born again.
A coward's language, metaphors and riddles.
Yes, and you are supposed to be the best at solving them.
I am, and it's what has made me great.
It has also made you cursed.
If that's the price of this city's safety, then I am well with that.
It is time. Come, boy. Lead me away from this place.
Yes, remove him from my presence now, before I lose all patience and stab him.
That won't be necessary. I'm going. But before I do, I will say what I came to say. Because you are powerless to harm me, and I have no fear of you. So listen. The man for whom you are searching, the murderer of Laius, he is here. This man seems to be a foreigner, but he will be shown to be a Theban, native born. And this discovery will increase his suffering greatly. Blind instead of seeing, dressed not in robes, but in beggar's rags, he will grope his way through exile, tapping the road with a stick. He will be revealed as his children's father and brother, as the assassin and cuckold of his own father. There now. Go in, think these things over. If you should find that I was wrong, then you can say I had no skills. Prophet.
Who is the man now stalked by the gods themselves? The one who brought this plague down on all of us. Who brought this curse, this pain, this suffering? Who shall be made to pay? Prophet Tiresias called out the king himself, said that he's to blame for all now besetting us. Can we believe this brave accusation? What are we to think? Enough with the questions, enough with the fear. The gods made it clear we now have to act. The person in our household is past suspicion. All should be questioned and all places searched. Target the ones who are not wearing masks, spreading the plague with each breath of gas. Lock on the city, let no one escape. Close every business, let everyone safe. No price too high for all of us to pay. Our rights, our freedom, our livelihood. All these things must be thrown away. Exchange for safety, the highest good. We demand protection. We demand a cure. We demand perfection. The right to be secure. We demand our leaders do everything they can. We demand a rescue, a miracle, a plan!
Citizens! It comes to my attention that the Tyrannus accuses me of treason. If this is what he truly believes, and has managed to convince all of you, I do not want to live another minute. As my reputation has been shredded, let me now be torn apart by you.
It seems to us he spoke impulsively, perhaps confused by the prophet's words.
And this is why he thinks Tiresias was suborned by me?
That's what he said. But it's not for us to draw conclusions.
I can't believe this. Has he gone mad?
You have the gall to show yourself here. Your plots revealed. You come here now for what? Forgiveness? What made you think you'd succeed? Did you find in me exploitable weakness, dullness of sense, or flabbiness of spirit? That even if I saw the serpent, I wouldn't crush its skull in self-defense? How stupid can you be? You have no friends, no followers, no wealth, all necessities for a successful coup.
Listen to me. You had your say. Now let me make reply. And having heard, let you and all these people be my judge.
Do not resort to sophistry to hide your hate. I know you all too well.
Explain the evidence on which you base your accusations.
Was it not on your advice that I summoned the prophet Tiresias?
Yes, and I continue to stand by it.
How long has it been since Laius
What? I don't understand.
was assassinated?
Almost 15 years ago.
Was the prophet available then?
Yes, revered as much as he is now.
And at that time, did he cast his eye toward me?
Not that I know of. Never in my presence.
Was there an investigation?
Of course. We pursued every lead and learned nothing.
So then why did the prophet say nothing?
I don't know! And when I don't know things, I keep my mouth shut.
Here's what I know, is that without your encouragement, he would never have accused me of this crime.
Dead wrong! Now let me question you. as is my right.
Ask away. The truth is with me always.
You are married to my sister?
What the hell kind of a question is that?
Just answer it!
As if you didn't already know. Yes, of course.
She shares the throne, sits alongside you?
She gets from me everything she wants.
Have you not both regarded me as your equals?
That's why your treason is so offensive.
There has been no treason. It makes no sense. Not if you look at things rationally. Think for a minute. Who would want the care, the anxiety of being king, when he could have all the same privileges, honors, and authority without the title? Anyone who craves that kind of power should not be allowed anywhere near it. Certainly I never felt that desire. And in any event, I already possess what I never fought for, or even wanted. Everyone respects me, defers to me. Whoever wants anything from you comes first to me. It's ideal for me, this situation. Why would I want to change it? In many ways, I'm better off than you yourself. To exchange my place for yours would be madness. Combined with that, I am a patriot, and would condone no act that would undermine the unity and well-being of the state. But if you still don't believe me, try this. Go yourself to the Oracle of Delphi, and see whether I told you the truth of its report of Apollo's answer. Then, investigate this conspiracy, my alleged collusion with the prophet. And if you find that it was true, then condemn me to death, not by your own words, but by mine, and all these people gathered here. But do not be such a fool as to judge before ascertaining every fact, on mere suspicion and without due process. There is no greater injustice possible than to uphold bad men as good, and good men as bad. You will learn the truth in time. It takes time to exonerate a just man. The villains are detected in a day.
We agree. It's best to proceed with great caution. Impulsive actions often produce regrettable results.
When stalked by wolves, you do not have the time to be contemplative. When threatened, I act.
What do you want then? To banish me from Thebes?
No. I want you dead, so that all can see the price of treason, the betrayal of king.
I see you'll neither yield nor believe me.
Because I am not an idiot.
Clearly you aren't wise, so what does that make you?
Nothing less than what I've always been. Your king.
You aren't a king. You're a tyrant. And tyrants deserve to be deposed!
Do you hear this, my Thebans?
Do you hear this, my countrymen?
Aristotle! Enough! Here he comes, and just in time. The Queen Casper from the palace. Only she can bridge this gap between you.
Aristotle, indeed. Is this how you behave? So-called best of men? Have you no shame? People have lost their lives and livelihoods, and the two of you bicker in the street like a pair of schoolboys who need a nap. Go in now, Oedipus. And you, Creon, go home. Stop embarrassing yourselves.
Jocasta, your husband threatens me with death or exile, accusing me of vile crimes.
I caught him in the act. I caught them all in mutiny against the ship of state.
May I drop dead now on this very spot if one word you say of me is true.
Believe him, Oedipus. I beg you. Do it for the sake of the oath he swears. Do it for the people. Do it for me.
Listen to your right, Tyrannos. Be advised. Let go your stubborn anger and relent.
To what should I consent? What should I say?
Say that you respect the sacred oath of this good man, whose service to the state has been anointed by his blood and his sweat.
All right. Let him go, regardless of the cost to me. Death, banishment, I don't care anymore. I relent for the sake of my people, but hold in my heart for him mistrust and hate.
Ever petulant, even when relenting, hardly different from your raging. Your temper is your greatest enemy.
But enough of you! Get out!
I'm going! treated me unjustly. But these people here, they know the truth.
Lady, there is no reason for him to remain. Bring him indoors, let him rest. There is more to come.
What caused this dispute?
Rumor, suspicion, rash accusation.
We're both to blame?
Both.
Describe the rumor.
Don't ask us to repeat it. We've enough with our present suffering. No need to sift through the pains of the past.
Is this what provoked the quarrel?
Yes, and his accusation that I killed Laius.
Did he offer any proof?
He's too clever to commit himself. He sent the perjured prophet to speak his lies.
Let me say a word about prophecy. It will ease your mind, I can tell you. There's no such thing, no such power. It's all a pageant for the credulous. I will prove it to you. Years ago, the oracle told Laius. The oracle, not God, that he would be killed by his own son. And that child would be born to him by me. But according to the eyewitness, Laius was killed by foreign thieves at the place where the three roads converge, right?
Yes, right.
For sure.
And yes, the child was born. And after 3 days, pierced him through his ankles, and gave him to a servant to dispose of. So you see, there was no destiny in any of this. Apollo's will could not have been directed in this way. That Laius would be killed by his own son. That child lived 3 days and died on the 4th. So much for prophecy. We are ruled by chance and by gods who do not care if we exist. They themselves exist in us.
Something you said just now jarred a memory. Something unsettling.
What did I say?
Did you say that Laius met his end at the place where the three roads meet?
Yes, that was the report.
What place exactly? Do you know?
On the road to Focus, where it divides towards Daulis and Delphi.
How long ago? When did this happen?
Before you saved us from the Sphinx, became our king.
Oh no, that can't be right. God's what you conspired to do to me.
Matter, Oedipus.
Not yet. Tell me about Laius. Describe him to me.
He was tall, hair beginning to turn gray, body and build very much like yours.
The curse is on me, and I did it to myself.
What are you talking about?
It seems the blind prophet sees much farther than I gave him credit for. One more question. His entourage, how many men were with him?
5 in all. Laius was in his carriage.
I see it clearly now. Who brought the report?
Slave, a lone scribe.
Where is he? Still in our service?
No! He returned after several months. Once he saw you ruling in the place of Laius, he pleaded with me, begged to be transferred to the pastures farthest away from Thebes. And I sent him. He had done me much service, so I owed him that.
Call for him at once.
It will be done as you command, but why?
I think I said too much too soon. I must question him immediately.
And you will. But first, share your heart with me. What is troubling you so?
I will tell you. No one knows me better. No one is closer. So, my father was Polybus, Corin. My mother, Merope, his wife, queen. I was their heir, the foremost citizen. All was well in our world until one night, at a banquet, a drunkard made a claim, outrageous. I am not the true son of Polybus and Merope. A brawl ensued. I beat him until he retracted the slur. Still, it was unsettling. So So I approached my parents and asked them whether he spoke the truth. They called the man a liar, a fool. I wasn't satisfied and made way to Delphi to consult the oracle. Rather than resolving the issue, Apollo made a baffling reply. He said that I was fated to kill my father, to wed my mother, sire children. Imagine the revulsion I felt upon hearing these words. So I fled, resolved to remain as far as possible from Corinth, as somehow the prophecy might be fulfilled. I wandered roads and highways aimlessly. I had no direction, no destination. But one morning, on the trek toward Thebes, at the place where the road divides in three, I chanced upon a man in a royal car who demanded that I yield right of way. I refused. I am not your subject! I am ruled by no one! Stand aside from me! His men came to me. From this point on, the memory blurs as I was enraged. But with my walking staff as a weapon, I shattered the bones of the lackeys, and with the blood end of the stick, I shattered their master's skull! If this man had anything to do with Laius, God forbid if he was Laius himself, who on this earth is more foolish than I? By my own decree, I must accept exile. All are obliged to shun me. No refuge for me anywhere. The killer of the king. And I can't return home, no, not to Corinth, where a madness or demon might possess me, forcing me to carry out these horrific fates imposed on me by the gods! That day will never come. You gods, I beg you, let the earth split wide open and swallow me before these grotesque predictions come to pass.
Tyrannus, this is quite disturbing. We feel your anguish, but don't lose hope. You have yet to hear from the witness, the servant who escaped the massacre.
Yes. Everything rests on the word of this slave.
What do you hope he will say?
His story must corroborate yours.
In what way?
You said that Laius was murdered by foreign thieves. If he maintains his accounts, then I am cleared. But if he claims a single assailant, it's over for me.
That was his original testimony. Not only to me, but the whole city. He can't withdraw it now without committing perjury. But if he does, there still remains the fact that Laius was meant to be killed by his own son. And clearly, that could not have happened, considering the child himself was snuffed out many years before the death of Laius. So please, put no stock in prophecy, which never produced words of value.
You're right in this, of course. But nevertheless, send for the witness immediately.
I will do all you ask me. More.
I have no wish to meddle in these matters. Someone kindly tell us what to do. We common folk are helpless. We are roiling in a tempest sent by God for our inaction.
We hope for nothing but our daily bread. We kept our heads down, never raised a fuss.
We're caught now in undertow. We're drowning. Our leaders powerless to rescue us. Nothing ever happens to the bastards who promise hope and fail every time. They told us they'd produce a paradise. Instead, there's only rioting and crime. Meanwhile, they retreat behind the walls. palaces and villas. The lives of our veterans are uninterrupted, their godlike tranquility never disrupted. They tell us everything is different, they tell us everything must change. They tell us we must sacrifice, they tell us we must exchange. Our freedom for safety, identity for a mask, our wealth for someone else's needs. And they aren't going to ask.
Seem surprised to see you here, your queen, with offerings of incense to the gods. She barely believes it. I should tell you how desperate I feel, seeing Oedipus so distressed, like a child in a nightmare. His past risen, given now to fear, gnawed with doubt. A stranger, Musa. So, Apollo, I beg you, forgive my own doubts and blasphemy, and send your healing power down upon us.
Good people, can you please tell me where's the palace of the king? Or better still, where's the king himself?
This is the place. See here his queen, the mother of his children.
Greetings, my lady. Much happiness to you and your household.
Thank you, stranger. From where do you come, and what's your news?
News will increase the joy of yourself and your husband.
Speak your message.
Very well. The people of Corinth have resolved to make Oedipus their Tyrannos!
That's impossible.
Explain yourself!
What happened to old Polybus?
He was old, I suppose. He's dead and buried now.
You're telling me Polybus is dead.
Cross my heart and hope to die. If what I tell you is a lie.
Go in now, one of you, and summon Oedipus.
Oedipus!
You see, I was right. These oracles count for nothing. This man, Polybus, the father of Oedipus, was supposed to be killed by Oedipus. Instead, he died naturally in his sleep, my husband having nothing to do with it.
What do you want?
Listen to this man. He brings interesting news. Just tell me what you think of your oracles.
Who is he? What does he have to say?
He comes from your home city in Corinth. He's come to tell you that Polybus has died.
What? Let me hear it from his mouth.
Very well, if that's what it takes to remove your doubts. I say with my mouth that Polybus is dead.
How? By illness or some treason?
He was old, sir. It didn't take much to push him over.
So he died of some sickness.
That and being just way old.
Huh. Now why should anyone regard the flight of birds or the spilling of some poor animal's guts as the means to know what lies ahead? It all pointed toward me that I should slay my father, but they were wrong. He's in his grave, and I had nothing to do with putting him there. The oracles are as dead as he is!
Didn't I tell you so? Wasn't I right?
Of course you were.
Then let it go.
But no! There's still this prophecy about my mother.
Oedipus, please, enough of that! No one can know the outcome of anything. Why live your life in fear? Better to live day to day without concern for what might be. Besides, it happens often in man's dreams that he finds himself in bed with his mother. But we should never dwell on these phantasms that crawl out from the corners of your mind. If you ever want to find peace, let it go.
I would like to take comfort in this. But as long as my mother lives, she is potentially a source of horrors.
Surely your father's death relieves at least a little of your dread.
It does, but this woman, she lives.
Whoa. Wait a second now. Who is this woman we're talking about here?
Merope, the wife of Polybus,
And what exactly is the problem?
an oracle from long ago, awful, disgusting.
Huh. Sounds juicy. Can you say what it was?
Why not? There's no point in keeping it secret. Apollo foretold that I was doomed to mate with my own mother and shed my father's blood with my own hands. For this reason, I exiled myself from my home, vowing to never return.
That's going to be a problem for me, you see. If I don't bring you back, I don't get paid.
No, not going near that place, not while she lives.
Sir, it seems to me you are confused
About what?
about your return to Corinth.
Yes, I fear the fulfillment of the prophecy.
And that's because of your parents' dubious curse?
It's all I can think about.
Then, I have some great news for you. These fears of yours are absolutely baseless.
How can they be baseless if I am their son?
You share no common blood with them, my friend.
What do you mean? Was Polybus not my father?
No more than I am.
You are nothing to me.
Correct. I didn't beget you, neither did he.
So then why did he call me his son?
You were childish. He received you from my hands. You
I was an orphan, a purchased slave.
Turn you in the glen. I'm Oedipus Tyrannos.
What were you doing there?
My job, sir. Tending the mountain flock.
Day laboring
My
shepherd?
savior, sir. It's true.
My savior? From what was I rescued?
Those feet of yours. Swelling are a vestige.
An old wound, don't remind me.
But what? How your ankles were pinned together? How you were hanging from them like a ham? Slung over the butcher's
Who
back?
did this to me? My father? My mother?
I don't know. The man from whom I took you might know more.
Wait. You didn't find me? Someone else?
Okay, you to be another shepherd.
Would you know him again if you saw him?
I don't think so. He said he was from the house of Laius.
The same king who ruled here long ago?
Very same.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. Ask these people here. They know more than I.
Where do you know this man? Where he is? Where he might be found? If you do, speak. The hour to resolve it all has come.
I think the man he speaks of is the shepherd you already summoned, that old servant of Laius. But the queen here, she can tell you all.
Jocasta, do you know the man we sent for? Is he the one the stranger describes?
Who? What man? You waste your time with this pointless search.
Pointless search? How can you say such a thing when I am on the verge of finding out the truth of who I really am?
Oedipus, please, if you value your life, abandon this quest. Let me bear the anguish for us both.
You fear to find that I am a slave? Or the son of slaves? But don't worry. The truth about me will not compromise your royal birth.
Please just stop and walk away.
I cannot!
I give you good advice.
I will never give this up!
Miserable man! May you never find the truth of who you really are.
Go now, one of you, and bring me the shepherd. While her highness here revels in her royal birth.
That will be the last word spoken between us. Whatever more there is to say will be told in silence.
Your wife departs in rage and grief, Tyrannus. I fear that some great storm is about to burst.
Let it come down! A storm, a tempest, I don't care anymore. Nothing will deter me from finding out the truth about my parents, however lowly. Let her wallow in her pride and scorn for what I may be. And whatever that happens to be, I shall accept it. I am what I am. Nothing can change that. I'm not afraid.
Tyrannus, the man you summoned is here, the servant from the house of Laius.
Is this the man?
It is.
Answer me now. Look at me! All my questions. You once the house of Laius.
I was a slave, not purchased, raised in the house.
What was your job?
I tended the flocks,
Where? From what pastures?
the ones like Cathyron and those nearby.
You must have known this man.
What man? Know him how?
This man himself a shepherd from nearby Corinth.
I don't recall ever meeting this man.
Let me give your brain a hand. I remember it like it was yesterday. You with your 2 flock, me with my 1. We spent like 3 full summers together. You, me, alone, together. And in winter, you'd head back to Thebes, night to corn. Come on, man, don't you remember?
It was so long ago. But yes, all he says is true.
Then you must remember the boy child you gave to me. I mean, who forgets a thing like that?
Yes, but why are you dredging this?
Dude, this man staying right here before us is the same child. Is that not a mind fuck?
Shut your ransom mouth, you imbecile!
Answer the damn question or I will have you flayed!
Please, gods, no, why torture an old man?
You refuse to respond to his claims about the child!
But it's nonsense. He's babbling idiocy.
Grab him, 2 of you, and pin back his arms.
Gods, I've done nothing wrong. What more do you want to know?
Did you give this man the child you spoke of?
I did, and I wish I'd died that day.
You will die this day if you lie!
Ugh. I'm dead already, truth or lies. There is no help.
No more bullshit! Did you give him the child?
Yes, I did. I've admitted it.
Was it yours or someone else's?
Someone gave it to me.
Who? A foreigner? One of these people here?
Tyrannos, I beg you, don't ask any more questions.
Answer or die! Whose house was it from?
Ah, it was from the house of lions.
Slave or a member of his family?
Please, gods, don't make me say.
Don't make me kill you!
Great! It was Laius' own son. But your queen, she knows.
Did she give the child to you?
Yes,
Why?
to destroy it.
It's the child's mother. Why?
Because she feared a prophecy
What was it?
that he would kill his father
And why did you give him away to this man?
out of pity, Tyrannos. I couldn't abandon a helpless infant, let alone kill one. I gave him to this man, hoping he'd take the baby far away to safety. Instead, he preserved the child for a world of horrors. If you are the man he says you are, then gods pity you. You were born to a life of misery.
Now it is accomplished. Now all has come to light. Now we see the real, the true.
Nightmare life! I should never have been born! Cursed from birth! Murderer of my father! Lover of my mother! Must never look upon the light again!
Oh, the life of man is nothing, a flash of light, a grain of sand. We come, we go, just as fate had planned, but no one knows what the end will bring. It's a blessing to be ignorant, unknowing, oblivious, unaware. May I never come to know the truth or dare to learn the faith that works its will on all that lives, and none of us can never cut that string. We see what fate has done to Oedipus the King, a man who should have never been born. Fate looks upon our suffering with indifference and scorn, and still we have to answer for it all. It is best to live a simple life and take our pleasures as they come. At the final beat of the final drum, the silence slices like a knife. Oh, the life of man is nothing, nothing. A flash of light, a grain of sand. We come, we go, just as fate had planned. But no one knows what the end will bring.
My countrymen! People of Thebes, listen. These things I must report. I can't resolve. What has happened and what is still to come are things that cannot be unseen once witnessed. Do not be forgotten having been heard.
Say what must be said. No holding back. Let the images be seared into our minds. A hot iron on bare flesh. We are ready.
It grieves me to announce Casper is dead.
Poor woman. How?
Suicide, hanging. We saw her burst through the doors into the vestibule, moaning, tearing her hair, clawing her face, tears and blood streaming as she passed. And her screaming. We could hear it from inside the room where she had sequestered herself and barred the door. She kept screeching the name of Laius over and over again, hysterically, her voice piercing the walls. Complete despair. And suddenly, silence. Now comes a thunderstrike. Doors fly open. Oedipus enters the palace, howling. An animal now, bereft of reason, dignity gone. He's searching for her. Arrives at her room, and though the door is locked, he crashes through. And we see her there, framed within the shattered portal, suspended in air as she is floating, head bowed, her silken scarves wafting up towards the rafters. Oedipus rushes to her, embraces her dangling feet, and over again he weeps the word, Mother. He takes handfuls of her dress, pulls himself upward hand over hand, until they are face to face. And with his dagger, he slashes the ligature, and they collapse in a heaping pile of flesh, living and dead. He draws from her dress the long-needled golden brooches that held it together. He raises them slowly and plunges them into his eyes, not once but repeatedly, over and over, turning the orbs into pulp, the gore splattering blood running down his face, down his chest, in the cold breast of his mother wife. Imagine the kind of strength this takes. Past all the balance, overriding every instinct, driven only by a will resolved to punish brutally and suffer endlessly. Though wailing, bereft of this man, so remorseful, so sad,
I now know what hell sounds like. The song of the damned, sung by a man who did not die, whose hell is here on earth. See him now for yourself. He has no wish to hide himself. He stands revealed to himself. He wants the world to see what he has become, what he has been, and what he will further be.
How could you have done this, Oedipus? What god or demon seized your hand and forced yourself to inflict such egregious harm?
No god or demon. My own will drove my hands, so that body could join soul and burn in hell.
Too monstrous to conceive.
More monstrous than killing my father. More monstrous than chopping my mother.
You can't be blamed for what you couldn't control.
It does not matter. I did these things. Made all the choices necessary to bring me to them. There is no excuse.
So cruel, this universe. And crueler still, the gods that commit such cruelty.
The universe is not cruel. It doesn't care. As for the gods, they too are powerless.
Have you learned nothing? How can you blaspheme like this?
Blasphemy! Truth. Even the gods must bow to fate.
That may well be. But if it's true, then in what sense are our choices free?
I do not know. All I know is that we are responsible for them.
This is a paradox not easily resolved.
I shall have time to reflect on it. I go now into exile by my own decree, the same one that forbids your speaking to me. The multiple curses I called down on myself beyond the required expiation. I lived in darkness. There was a blindness. I could not see myself. I did not know myself. The prophet was right. I have been immolated in the agony of truth, which has burned away the last trace of ignorance and falsehood. Now the darkness in which I live is brighter than the full light of the sun, and it reveals me to myself and to all the world. Please forgive me.
For what?
For bringing you the plague, which was myself.
We bear part of that burden too.
No, the burden is mine, and only mine. I shall bear it with pride until it crushes me.
Look now. Here is Creon, clearly shaken by these horrors.
No, I do not dare show my face before him, after abusing him so unjustly.
I have not come to mock you, Oedipus, nor to seek satisfaction for the slander you leveled against me. My God, someone remove him from the public view. This spectacle mortifies all decency and dignity.
Wait, Creon, please wait! Don't let them touch me, lest they soil their hands. Let me remain, so that all may witness the power of fate. Let them compare what they have with what I am, and understand how blessed they really are.
You have no power here, and so it's not for you to say what should or should not be done.
Agreed. Then at least do me this. Grant me the exile demanded by the gods, and my own word.
You will die out there. You won't survive a day.
No, I will live. Live long. A lesson to all whose luckless paths I cross. Somehow, I can see no harm will befall me. I am called to another role, on another stage. But I demand, no, I ask, I beg, one thing and one thing only, Creole. My children.
What about them?
That you care for them. Keep them safe from a world that will look upon them only as the foul vestige of a filthy union.
Your sons are already out of control, marshaling their own armies. They have agreed to share power, but this arrangement, I'm afraid, will not last long before its bloody collapse.
My daughters, then, how will they survive? Who will take the hand of a girl whose dowry is a legacy of incest and crime? They are as abject as I. No future.
When they have come of age, they may choose to join you in your misery if they wish. Now go! You will not come in, so you must get out. Fulfill your own and the gods' decree and leave. And take with you this plague with which you've managed to contaminate this country.
I go now, Creon, taking all sorrows with me. For a time, at least. Thebes is a city of men. And where there are men, there is pain. You will find out for yourself soon enough. Farewell.
We have witnessed the catastrophe of Oedipus Tyrannos.
A man is blessed as he was cursed.
Godlike and royal, he was driven away, having lost everything, and finding himself.
Though he suffers now, it is because he has suffered into truth, as we all must do.
Therefore, let this be the takeaway. To not count ourselves as happy.
Until we have seen our last day.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight for this production of Oedipus Tyrannos. We are the Theater of the Poor, bringing free theater in the summertime to audiences in Casper throughout the summer and in found spaces like this. We do this for you for free, but we do ask you to hit the tip jar if you don't mind. We have the Alms for the Poor box right over there. And one other thing, the new normal is destroying the old theater. If we are not permitted to gather like this, then this sort of thing is just going to go away. We don't want to watch actors performing in masks and face shields now, do we? We don't want to have to be afraid to gather to watch the living theater unfold before us like this, because this art form needs you. Thank you so much for being with here tonight. Spread the word. Let everyone know about us. Get on Facebook. Get on TikTok. The actors will be coming around in a second if you want to just greet them and share your appreciation with them. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And thank you for enduring this cold weather.
It was a balmy August night.
The balmy August night. Yeah, I keep forgetting it was Casper, Wyoming. Sorry.